Brett, thanks for being on today. How's it going down there in the great state of Texas?
It's going pretty well. Thanks for having me, Robert.
Brett, you do you remember Brett your how you heard about Home Video Studio, and just so people new people can hear, and anybody else that's coming along, how what was your journey like? We're going to talk about your journey from home video, from what you used to do and what you do now, and rookie of the year and studio owner of the year. Take us through part of that. How did you first hear about Home Video Studio?
Well, I was trying to think of that when we were introducing ourselves and kind of telling our stories a couple of weeks ago, and I know it was social media. I think it popped up on just like Facebook or something, and I saw it several times, and I kept reading that, and it kept being in my brain because it sounded like such an exciting thing to do. And I went on YouTube and looked up. I think there was one of those explainer videos, with the voiceover and just talking about all that. So I listened to that, and it was really amazing because when I finally decided to call, I thought there is no way this guy is going to answer the phone. It's going to be some recording, and I called, and I remember it was in our old house, and I called, and Robert picked up the phone and said hello, and I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" So that sparked our conversation, and it started from there. And at the time, I was editing full time video editor, and just wanting to have more control of my time and that kind of thing. And so I spoke with my wife about it, and usually, when I have an idea or something, she's like, "Brett, just what are you thinking about? I mean, come on." But with this, she said, "This really sounds like it's you. This really sounds like it could be a possibility." And so that was a good conversation that I remember having with her. And then, of course, the three of us got together and just rolled from there.
Well, that's that's great, and I like the fact that you found us on Facebook and that your wife gave you the thumbs up.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's
She
because
said that sounds a lot like you. I've always been the guy that the annoying dad carrying the video camera around on the vacations, and we're walking around and shooting everything, and they're like, "Why don't you put that up?" And my standard answer is, when you're 80 years old and sitting in your rocking chair, you'll be glad I did this because you'll be able to go back and see all the memories and stuff. So.
Well, and so to share with us what you do for a living. I know you do this, obviously, but what did you do before, and how have you integrated that into what you do now?
Well, I think it works together really well, and I meet a lot of people through what I do because it's always been in AV, and so at the time I was editing full time, and that which is it's cool, but if you can imagine, going to work and sitting in a dark room all day, no windows, and editing for 8 hours, by the time you edit for 40 hours. Um, I would leave work on Fridays, and I'd have my eyes would be crossed, and I'd have headaches and all this kind of stuff. And so, I enjoy editing, but it's just a part of what I love doing. I love AV, and I love memories, and all those kind of things. And so we had gotten real. When you start editing something like a television program, it's real formulaic, and it's just the same thing over and over and over again. And I enjoy getting out and meeting people and talking to them and talking. And to me, that's one of the funnest things about home video studios. They're coming over, they're dropping off their memories, and they start to share their memories, and you talk to them, and you just find out so much about people. And I tell people all the time, I get to go to places that I probably won't ever actually get to go to, but I've got these slides, and they were uh, there are these slides of people skiing in the Swiss Alps or whatever. So I feel like I'm there. I tell my wife, I get done, I'm transferring those slides, scanning those slides, and I'm like, I've just been to the Swiss Alps, and those kinds of things. And so, but those are some of the things that, as I begin to process doing doing something besides editing for 8 hours a day that excited me, and getting out and meeting people and talking to them about their memories and helping them preserve their memories instead of the more formulaic, just, do the same thing over and over again every single day. So.
Well, that's it's interesting your background as a video editor, I believe for a church, correct? Or a
Yes,
ministry.
yeah, it was a ministry before, and now I'm just that was as I said, I just got to where I couldn't handle doing that anymore. It was kind of a toxic environment where I was working. I was driving a long way to it, and so now I'm doing some AV work for a church. I just do it's similar to what Wendell does. Just helping them in the broadcast and doing the online, making sure the online stuff is good and getting camera people and training them and that kind of a thing. So
So it's a little more varied now with
yeah, yeah, it's very
your other thing.
it's very
Yeah.
much so. Mhm,
Well, that's what, we call it work-life balance, and people do start home video studios part-time.
mhm.
They do something else because a lot of people aren't ready to leave their day job. Some are. And so seems to me like you've integrated this thing pretty well between running your home video studio. Are you working at all all hours of the day? Because I know that with these farm out projects, you're keeping busy there, but I know you have a lot of clients coming in. So
Yeah.
how do you manage all that?
Well, it does take the daily discipline, that kind of thing. I'm a little bit more flexible in what I do, and that's the great thing about this job is that it is more flexible. And if I need to take off, in an afternoon, I can do that. And so, but it does require, planning stuff out and staying ahead of the ball, and sometimes being very busy. But my hope is that pretty soon I won't need to have a day job. That it'll be all home video studio, and I'm really hoping that will come very quickly. I'm ready. I'm ready. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Well, so this last summer, you were Rookie of the Year. That was
Mhm.
what year were you Rookie of the Year?
Well, that was it 2 years ago or 3 years ago? I'm trying to remember. It was in Reno.
So that would have been
So
3 years ago. Yes.
yeah, yeah. So that's 3 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was in Reno. So for people that don't know, and for brand new owners, Home Video Studio has, of course, the Hanleys. That's our version of the Oscars, and then we have Achievement Awards, which we kind of just, honor people. You don't really apply for that, but you were Rookie of the Year, and then a couple years went by, and you're one of the, Brett, you are one of the only owners, I think, to train in their first year for us. Um, as a what did you train on? What was that? I wonder what advanced class you gave at advanced training.
Well, it was After Effects, and after doing it for 14 years every day, I'd hope you'd pick up a little bit here and there, but I really enjoy that. That's a lot of fun to me. I come from a long line. It seems like um, all my relatives, my dad and his dad, and my mom's dad, and my mom, and just going back, come from a long line of educators, um, and that's sort of what I did. I worked with teenagers in churches for a long time, and that's part of what I did there as well. And so, teaching is fun. The Hanleys is fun, and getting together for on a yearly basis like that. It's just for those of you who hadn't been before. It's just an awesome time, and I know a lot of times it's hard to break away because we've got there's so much going on and so much to do, but but every time we've gone, we've just been real happy that we've kind of set aside the time to do that. And there is a cost associated with it. And I think that's what a lot of people say is that it costs to go and it costs to be out of your studio, but you gain so much by being with the family and hanging out and the Hanleys that you mentioned. Is such an encouragement, not only to win awards and stuff, but also to see what the other studios are doing and to learn, to learn things. This year, of course, now one of the big topics is AI and picking up things, and then circling back and talking to some of those people who won. I told Robert the latest video I did, I made the jump into AI and I went on and did the little voiceover AI thing, and it's really cool. And you pick that stuff up. I learned about it from talking to other studio owners. So there's so much to gain from going and experiencing those times together. So
Yeah, AI, because you did After Effects at advanced training, and then last year I gave you a big ask. I asked you if you could do 3 days of After Effects, and you did.
right.
And I know a lot of owners
Uh-huh.
like that. And you don't have to, even to be a great studio owner, you don't have to, well, you definitely don't have to know After Effects, and you necessarily
No.
wouldn't need to know Photoshop, but we train on all of these because
Mhm.
we have so many tools we can pull from. We can pull from Premiere Pro or Adobe Audition, uh,
Mhm.
any of these little one-hit wonder programs that Chad teaches. And then,
Yeah, and it's like anything else with After Effects. I mean, it. You have to decide: am I going to take the time to learn it? And if I am, it's going to take. And that's I was going to say that really teaching one day of After Effects is really tough because there's a lot. It's involved. It's to learn it, you've got to spend some time. But once you know it, it can help. You get that keepsake or whatever that you're going to do. If you know how to do it, you know how to do it quickly, it can help you. And that's one of the ways that I can keep up and do some of these farm out jobs is because I can pretty quickly put stuff on a timeline, have it move in and out and those kind of things, and then move on to the next project. And those are some projects that pay pretty well. So, you just have to determine. I mean, is it worth my time? And if it is, you have to spend a little time learning it. But once you know it, it can help you along and be able to do things that will definitely bring in some money. So,
yeah, because the getaway is 4 day. Well, it's 4 days, and then advanced training is 3 days. So together, 7 days where you can just get away and no pun intended, and learn these programs. You don't have anything
mhm,
else no other distractions besides of course, the camaraderie of the group and the project
absolutely.
we're on. And by the way, Denise and I are going to French Lick, Indiana. That's where our conference is going to be. That's where advanced training is next July. We're going on Saturday, and we're going to be there Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday. I'll do the Monday vid conference live from French Lick, Indiana, and that's where we're
Oh,
having
wow.
our conference.
Cool.
We're just going because it's her birthday, the First Lady of Home Video Studio, on Halloween. So we're going to go down on Saturday. But yeah, you really rose to the occasion on both of those items, and I know we're going to have some other owners that come up through the ranks and do the same thing. Our current owners that just
Sure.
want to help train. But if you look at the palette, we have the tools that we have. We have Adobe Premiere Pro, Adobe Audition, we have Photoshop, we have Lightroom Classic, we have After Effects if you want to use it. And this year, Brett, I'm really excited about this. We're adding in at least 2 full days, maybe 3 full days on AI tools.
Wow.
And that's going to be amazing. But let's get on to Studio Owner of the Year this year. So, what were your thoughts when you were at the Hanleys this year? Because this is something I always ask. They used to, I used to do taekwondo, and whenever there was a test, they would have these little awards they would give out, and some of them were kind of like silly and things, but I always wanted to win one. I never did. But these, nothing small or silly about the Hanley Awards or Studio Owner of the Year. But what were you thinking out in the audience as we were getting close to that? I mean, what did you think when you heard your name? What did you think? What were your thoughts? Tell us the what was going through your head.
Well, people say that, you hear people say this, and you think, oh, um, they really had an idea that this was going to happen. I had no idea that this was going to happen. It was total surprise. I was not expecting anything like that, Robert. And the truth of it is we have so many great owners, and even to be there, with those type people in a room is just, to me, it's really awesome. I just look at the previous award winners and how they have, paved the road for us, and some of these guys that are so successful in doing what they do. And it was really just to tell you the truth, it was humbling, because I'm just like, wow. I mean, I don't know. It was just, for me, it was a total surprise. It was incredible. And, again, such an encouragement. I mean, you leave there thinking, man, this was totally worth my time. All the times you've been, staying up late to finish the project and do the things, and you're thinking, nobody understands me, nobody gets it, I'm so mistreated and I'm underpaid, and all the things that you think. And um, it just takes it and kind of validates all that what you're doing, it does matter. And I think for us it does. And so many times we can, kind of feel, when you're in your studio just getting after it, you can feel alone, and I'm the only person in the world with, but then you go and you're there with other people that are doing it as well, and then you get an acknowledgement like this, like, wow, that's really really incredible.
You know, um, it was a great night. Um, would you agree with this? When you teach, you almost learn more than when you're just in class.
Oh, definitely, definitely, absolutely, yes, because you have to, going into the class, you have to, go back and verify that, I don't want to say the wrong thing when I'm teaching. So I'm going to go back and,
Right.
and that's the other great thing about the group of people um, that we're with, and that I was able to teach to. They know a lot too, and so I'm learning stuff off of those guys. They're saying, well, hey, couldn't you do it? Well, yes, absolutely, you could do it that way. There's more than one way to do it in After Effects and Premiere and all these programs, and you pick up different workflows and different things. But really, it's uh, After Effects is about keyframing, and it teaches you keyframing, and so many programs, even in Premiere Pro, you can benefit from learning to keyframe, because you can keyframe in Premiere Pro and other programs as well. So, but it forces you to go back and to, relearn all those shortcuts, and you're teaching the shortcuts, and someone that's out there learning says, well, hey, what about this shortcut? Oh, let's try it. Oh yeah, that works. So here's a new thing that I picked up off of this. So absolutely, 100%. And anybody who's asked to do that, there's no better group of people to do it with than the home video studio people. So lots of encouragement, and you know, um, I guess forgiveness if, if something does, if you do forget something or whatever. So,
Well, and you will. We do, because that's just the nature of things. So let's
absolutely.
go back in a time machine. I came down and installed your studio, and then I left, and then you were not on your own because you have everybody that's you can count on and call on to help you.
Absolutely.
But what was it like that first year and finally, not finally, but getting some projects in? Were you scared? Were you triumphant? Were you amazed when people called and then they gave you their money? Or
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about that because I know you've had some nice projects too.
All of that stuff that you said. But no, and I've heard some owners say this that like, when the jobs start coming in, you're like, yes, we can do that, and then you hang up and you're thinking, well, can I really? And um, I just want to encourage you that you actually can, and and again, if there's something that you're asked to do, I remember one of my very first jobs, a guy brought me. If you can imagine this, think about this for a second. Um, a guy brought me some PAL PAL 8 millimeter tapes with mold on them. Okay, this is 2 or 3 jobs in, and so I mean I'm calling Robert. Robert's like, well, call Cheryl. Cheryl knows how to do. Okay, I'll call. So I call Cheryl and I talk to Cheryl, and Cheryl gives me some advice, and then Craig Peterson, who's over in Arlington, we're Texas brothers, and I called Craig and, hey Craig, can you help me with the PAL deal? I couldn't do any of that. Here I am. Of course, the our version of video is NTSC, and PAL is a completely different version. And so you have to have specialized equipment to do that. So I called a couple of studio owners that helped me understand how to clean mold off of tapes. I pulled out my equipment. I got the mold off those tapes. I called Craig. Craig helped me. I actually drove to Arlington and got some equipment from Craig. He helped me with the PAL part of the job. I got these tapes done, and when you do something like that, I am taking and I'm delivering this guy his memory, and he was like these he was a veterinarian or something, and he had these dogs that he was taking care of, and so for several years they kept him alive, and then they died, and he said these were my babies. I have to get this tape. And when I was able to take him and hand him that video of these PAL tapes that had mold on them, you know, um, it's like, wow, it just gives you the feeling I really can do anything, And shortly after that, a church called me up north of here, and they had a fire, if you can imagine this, and it was VHS tapes that had been in a fire. And I'm telling you, Robert, these things were melted, these videos. And so I literally had to get other VHS tapes and open them up, take the tapes out, transfer them to this other to these new cases. And again, he brought me, I think, 50 tapes, and I think I recovered 47 of them. And one of them, there was no way because it was completely melted. I mean, the tape was damaged. So I got 47 out of 50 tapes. And so, you learn so much in doing what you're doing and in calling, your the other studios and other folks and getting advice and just going for it.
Just going for it. What are you working on now? What's going on?
Well, fortunately, or unfortunately, I know there's lots of people. I know there's different profit centers, and people, have their own specialized profit centers. But obviously, I'm from an editing background, and so lately I've been getting a lot of editing jobs, and that's good. But meanwhile, the transfers just keep it in as well. So I just keep the tapes transferring, and got a couple of big. Um, Huge editing jobs, and so those are definitely keeping me busy. And I'm just looking at it now, going, we're still several months away from Christmas, and I'm pretty busy. Hopefully that's encouragement to everybody. Christmas is a great time of the year. You probably heard it from other studio owners, but I'm here to testify that Christmas time, people get very nostalgic. And so if you've been, a little bit less busy, this is the time of year to go for it. So keep an eye open for any way you can get the word out. There's another thing that I've been thinking about that we've been talking about quite a bit, and that is senior adult centers. I've been thinking for a long time. I just need to hit up all the senior adult centers. And I've been thinking it, but I just hadn't gotten around to it. Well, finally, the other day, I got a call from a lady at a senior adult center, and so I went by to see. I had to go by and see her, because she's 80 something years old, but she doesn't know a lot about technology, and she just has tons and tons of stuff, and so and then she gave me all her stuff, and then she's like, I've got a friend that's got more stuff than me, but she's just not. She's more of an introvert, and so she wanted to wait and see how it went with me, and then. I'm going to give her your information, and you've just been so helpful. I'm giving her your information, so you should hear from her. So um, that's another thought, just a random thought that I happen to be working on right now is check out the senior adult centers. Lots of people with lots of media that have, some expendable income, and they want your help. This lady was like, I am, she says, I've called these people and they want me to mail them their stuff, or they want me to deliver their stuff over here, and you're willing to come by. This is just the greatest thing ever. So, think about possibilities that are in your area, and again, just go for it. For the longest time, I've been telling myself I need to do that, and in a way, it kind of almost came to me. But I'm taking a look now. Man, I got to find these places and get my name out there. And in fact, when I went to check in the front desk, they said, "Well, hey, give us your information, and we have a thing that we publish in our institution and send it out to everybody. So we'll put a little ad in our thing that we distribute." And I was like, "Great!" So gave my information, gave my brochure that they could put the information in there. So yeah.
That's a great market and getting better and better and better. I'm curious, did she have like one of those little condos there, or one or two rooms, or an apartment? And where did she
Yeah,
store her memories? Do you know?
she has a little apartment, and I mean, and it's really, we've only really scratched the surface. She has some videos, and um, they're on her computer, and she really doesn't know how. She even needed more encouragement and just how to be able to view some of her stuff. But I mean, she has videos, she has slides, she has photos. And, once we did a couple of her videos, got them to her, and I helped her to be able to pull them up on her TV. And um, she was like, "Well, hey, I want to be able to watch, I've got these pictures and they're sitting in this photo book. Well, I want to see those on TV." And I'm like, "Sure, well, we can do a little, sorry about that. My phone is like, that's not here.
Well,
Um,
it's making me dizzy. There we
Oh,
go.
there, sorry about that. Okay.
No.
Sorry. Um, she but she wants to take her pictures and get those scanned and do a photo keepsake for her photos and for her slides as well. So who knows how long this relationship will continue. So
Well, you could probably, like you've already talked about, turn that into leverage that, because a lot of different ways to do it. We've had nobody's really done it in a while, but we had a program called Movie Night where we would actually go out to assisted living places and show
right,
movies and talk about transferring your memories. And then we would actually encourage studio owners to go out and do like life stories as almost
right,
like just a giveaway to the community, not even charge for them, or do one or two for free, complimentary. And so there's a lot of different ways to get into those communities. And what you're doing, I think, is number one, you're getting your name out there, but you're also earning trust, that you're not just there for their money, which I mean we are, but we're there to help solve their problem. And even you're helping her to get this on her TV. That's that's a big thing. So let's see.
Oh, Robert, she was so excited. I mean,
Yeah, she probably was.
she was like, I need to show you some of this video. It's me in
Yeah.
Russia, and I was doing so and so,
Yeah.
and man, it's incredible.
Um, you have several studio owners near you too.
Hmm.
You have Bill Burrow.
Yeah,
You have
correct.
Craig Peterson. How has that been working with, when you have other owners close by?
Oh, it is. It's so nice. Craig has been so great. And I hadn't talked to him in a bit. I need to get in touch with him. But I remember when I first started, I mean, every couple of weeks, it seems like I would go and just sit and kind of watch him. And he's got a great studio and in Arlington, which is a great location as well. And people would walk in, to his studio and just seeing him how he interacts with folks and takes jobs and that kind of thing and get advice and Mary as well. They would do a lot of slides, and so they would show me. They'd take me back there and don't you can do this and this and stuff. And so it's great. I talked to Bill last week, and it was good to talk with him. And so yeah, the Texas group and growing as well.
Oh yeah, because we have a new studio in Alvin, so that's
Uh-huh.
awesome.
And
Uh,
Round Rock as well. Don't forget Round Rock.
oh, let's not forget Round Rock. Round Rock, I think Michael is here as well. Texas is hot, so is Florida.
Uh-huh.
Kind of an interesting pattern, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
what advice would you give to? Because I will put part of this out to prospects who want to start a studio. People that are thinking about it. What advice would you have to somebody that's maybe on the verge of just contacting us? They get these emails, they see us on Facebook. What made you go from seeing us on Facebook to actually dialing the phone? Curious.
Well, a combination of things, and I think, you know, I guess, having an opportunity to work with a group of people. I know lots of people that want to start businesses, and those of you who have done it, know, which of course all of us have done it, but we know that it's hard work. I mean, it's not, you don't just open your doors and people start coming. There's some work that goes into it, and there's some knowledge. There's some things that you need to know to do that. And so if you want to have a group of people to walk through doing business with and learning off of them and having them show you how to succeed and how to run a business. I think that it's the thing for you. Now, if you think you're just going to come in and that it's just going to come to you and that you're going to have money walking in your door, then it's not like a get rich scheme kind of thing. Um, it's a business and it's your business, and that's the thing is that you have control of your hours and you have control of this is when I'm going to be open and these are jobs that I'm going to take and these are jobs that I'm not going to take. And so if you have a desire to do that, I think this is a great place to do that. And so I would say, just figure out if it's something, like I was saying before, when I explained it to my wife, and when you explained it to my wife, she says, "Wow, this sounds like something that would be very good for you." Then I would say, then go for it and jump in, and it's so helpful to be able to walk through starting a business and getting it going and beginning to get customers, to have other people there with you and other people who have succeeded and know what they're talking about to be able to help you. So I think that's what I would say to them.
Well, that's great, and I appreciate that. But thank you. I want you to think back to the moment, the day. Maybe you can't even recall.
Uh-huh.
Day you called me. Why that day? Why that moment? Why did you call that day? what finally said, I'm going to take the time to call? Do you remember, or is it just like,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was exactly what, what I was saying just there. That's what I was thinking when I was there. I was like, I've been working for other people for all my life, and I would like to do something where, um, I'm in charge, so to say, so to speak, that I make the decisions, and I determine my hours, and that's one of the things you talk about in those promos that I heard back in the day. And I don't, are those still around? The voiceover guy that you had.
yeah, those
Um,
are still online on our
yeah,
YouTube channel. Yep.
yeah, and it talks, and in that I remember listening to that and
Yeah.
thinking, you know, and you talking about you wake up, you exercise, um, you prepare for your day, and then you go to work in your studio. And to me, that's an appealing thing, something that I would love to do going into retirement, to be able to retire that way, and retire with my own business instead of working for other people.
Well, it's interesting, Brett, because I think we all have these, major events that happen to us or we make happen, and then either even insignificant ones that things that we put off during the normal course of the day or the normal course of our lives. And I can share real quickly two times. And I mean, I can remember when I was working, and I really never worked for anybody else except for like jobs in high school and in between while I was going to college. And I was a college dropout. I just have an associate degree. But I can remember working at the Covington IGA night crew and every day just going in and thinking, I'm never going to get anywhere. I'm just going to do this, and what's going to happen to me. But one day I just, for some reason, drove over to this community college and enrolled. And then the same way with home video studio, the opportunity, I was running this business in Indianapolis from, gosh, this is going to be our 35th anniversary this year.
Wow, wow.
Yeah, 35 years since, well, June 14th, 1991. So I was running my studio from that date, June 14th, 1991. Of course, I was, a film producer before that. But for 8 or 9 years, 10 years, maybe we started selling studios in 1999, so 7 or 8 years. And and I kept thinking every year, because people were coming into my studio early on and saying, wow, I would love to do this. And each year Denise and I would go to NAB and we'd go to this big party we were invited to, and we'd talk to people. And I kept thinking, gosh, the time is just going by. Am I ever going to start this opportunity business? Maybe it's too late. And so I just one day just started it. But I think we could get more people to be studio owners if more people would just call. But it's human nature that we go through each day almost like robots. Even think of in your own studio, because we do this in our own studios. We go through and we love what we do, and we have clients that come in, but then, we know we want to try out new software and new programs and try new profit centers and do this and do that. It is so easy to get just sucked into the day to day. And so I commend you because you have continued in your career in home video studio to jump out of that, not rut really, but just jump out and put yourself out there and do things that are scary, like teaching 3 days of After Effects and
Yeah,
bringing your whole family to the getaway, even though you knew you were going to be busy for 3 days. So
yeah.
I really thank you for being on today. Miguel, do you have any insight on this topic? And do you want to ask anything you want to ask Brett Everett?
Yes, I did have a question,
Mhm.
Brett. So you said you have some editing jobs. Did those just come to you, or like how were you? Did you actively pursue them?
Um, well, no, I guess it's getting to the point where several of my clients have kind of learned that side. Of course, I've got a couple of farm out jobs from Robert, um, but some of my customers are also picking up on the fact that I do quite a bit of that, and so. I know with one customer, and I think that's the interruption a second ago was him trying to give me a call. Um, he takes trips to Mexico, and so at first I had just transferred some tapes for him that he had taken, and he learned that I was an editor as well, and so I started editing for him. Now I edit all of his Mexico trips. So um, just through meeting people and building a relationship. And I think that's really and something that I think home video studio stresses is that you're not just doing a job, but you're building relationships with folks. And I think through that you get opportunities. People kind of learn, what you do. And begin to kind of take advantage of that. And so I built a really good relationship with this guy. And I think from now for the foreseeable future, every time he takes a group to Mexico, he'll come back and bring the footage to me, and I'll edit it for him. So
Cool.
yeah,
Yeah, because I love editing, and
uh
I'm
huh,
always trying to find more editing jobs. So
yeah, yeah. It kind of went a little bit slower at first, and now I think it's gaining a little bit of attraction. But I always, when my customers come in, um, and leave other jobs, slides or pictures or whatever, I'll just kind of mention, hey, um, if you didn't want to get a video made of this, we can put these pictures on, because lots of, as there's lots of people these days that have these slides and photos. And they're like, what do we do with all this stuff? We're tired of keeping it in our closets or whatever. So, and for whatever reason, that's been a big deal too lately. Is I have scanned a lot of slides and a lot of photos, so I'll just mention to people as we do that, hey, I can do a little keepsake for you for this, to where you can actually watch it and show it on your TV, and so gotten several jobs that way as well.
that's very similar to what I do as well. It's
Uh
like,
huh.
well, we did this for you, we can do this for you too. So you just,
Right.
let everything ends up being a feeder type system, where it
Yeah.
could be one tape and it's like, well, we can take parts from this tape and make a whole new video and
Yeah.
repurpose all your old memories. So
And I think that those lifetime videos that Robert was talking about, I mean, that's becoming a thing, I mean, it's almost to the point now where when you go to a memorial service, there's usually a video like that. My dad, for instance, went to a memorial service where they had a lifetime type video, and he came back and he mentioned that to me. So I said, well, next time I come over, I'll bring my camera and stuff. So, these are not hard to do. This is not super hard work. This is taking a camera, putting it on a tripod, get some good lighting, and get a good shot, and just sitting down and letting people talk and tell their stories. And so my dad went ahead and did that. So he's alive and well, but we have his lifetime video shot and ready to go. So just real quick before I go, I just want to say thank you to you and to Miguel for hosting us every Monday. And I just want to, I really do, from the bottom of my heart, want to say thank you to the other studio owners. You are all inspirational. I just love to want to see you guys, getting to spend time with you guys, and just want to encourage you just to keep going. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening today. And I just really appreciate all you guys.